Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ice Cold Takes podcast. I'm your host, Joey DiMaglio, and what a crazy week for New York sports. The New York Rangers just ended a 7-game winning streak, and Carlos Correa signed with the Mets in the wee hours of the morning on Wednesday. Joining me to talk about it today is Nick and Python, both recurring guests on the show. How we doing, boys?
Buzzing.
Doing great. You also forgot to mention Aaron Judge was named captain of the Yankees, but nobody cares about that. So.
Right. The Knicks were on an 8-game winning streak too. A couple other noteworthy things in there, headlines, but for the purpose of this podcast, talking about the Mets and the Rangers here. Come on now.
Yeah, 100%. We don't care about the Yankees. That's poor people problems. We don't care.
That's Aaron Judge stolen from the Giants, and according to John Heyman, and then Carlos Correa also stolen from the Giants. So let's get some instant reactions on that. 12 years, $315 million for Carlos Correa. I was not expecting that whatsoever. The day on Tuesday, it was like, oh, the press conference for Correa is postponed. And, I didn't think anything of it. I just thought like, oh, maybe something like work related happened with one of the employees there or something like that. And, it would just get pushed to another day. That was the last thing I thought of, him failing a physical or something like that, or them not liking the medicals. He signed last week, right? Like with the Giants, it was reported that, right?
Gotta be less than. Was it last Saturday? Right?
I believe so, yeah. Sometime around then. It was Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the Giants wanted out of the deal. I think that's really what it came down to. I think that they thought the price was way too much that they gave. 13 years, 360, I think it was. That was way too much. I think they just wanted out.
I agree.
I'll be 35 by the time that contract would have expired, which is
Jesus
crazy. But yeah, Correa is a great player, and Steve Cohen just went all out, and he wasted absolutely no time. None. He saw an opportunity and he pounced on it. And I for the first time in my life as a Mets fan, I could say with certainty that the people that are running the organization that I root for are doing everything they possibly can to put the best squad out there every single year. And it's something that I never thought I'd be able to see. Like, I'm sure you guys felt the same way with like the Wilpons, but like, this is just incredible. Like, first you lock up Diaz, you get Verlander to replace DeGrom, you get Quintana, you get the Japanese pitcher Senga, who looks like he's going to be really good. Last year you had Scherzer and Canna and Marte, and all those guys were like key contributors. And now you're going after Carlos Correa, and it's just like I can't believe it. Honestly, I really can't believe it.
I think we were this close to A-Rod, J-Lo, and then whoever else was in
right.
Dave Portnoy was in there too.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, if A-Rod bought the team, no way we would have half these guys. No way.
I wouldn't have any of them.
Nope.
But like, I can't believe that happened. Like, I woke up stunned. On yesterday, on Wednesday. I was nuts. I can't believe it.
I was beyond pissed. I went to bed right before it happened, woke up late the next morning. I was beyond pissed.
To cap off the day, too, the Mets traded James McCann. And like, I was kind of calling for that. Like, they got to shed some salary.
Might be bigger than Correa. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
A lot of fans acted like that.
Facts.
Right.
It was so brutal.
So like, who's catching this year? They got Narvaez, right? And now, what are they going to give Alvarez?
Nito and Narvaez will split.
Yeah.
Nito Narvaez. So what? Alvarez to AAA?
DH, baby.
Oh, DH. Correa at third.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's a loaded lineup. There's gonna be definitely some guys that we're gonna have like coming off the bench, like Escobar or Vogelback. Those are some good bats.
Canada's gonna be hitting eighth.
Seriously.
Canada hitting eighth. It's like, that's a damn good 8 hitter, man. I mean, I know the Phillies have a pretty loaded like offensive lineup, but that's got to be up there. That's doing whatever you can to to make it work. Compete now, like with the added playoff spots. There is a chance that the Mets could squeak their way in there. I honestly, they could compete for the division if all goes well next year, if everybody stays healthy, and that's a big if. 162 games, very hard to stay healthy throughout
I
that.
want the entire National League. You're talking just the division.
Yeah.
I want the entire National League.
Yeah.
I think they could compete
100%.
with the Dodgers this year. I really do. And especially if they add Liam Hendricks right now, there's connections there. I think that there's no reason to believe they can't compete with the Dodgers this year.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
does like Hendricks want to close, or like is he okay in his setup role? Because if he's fine with the setup role, I'm in for that 100%.
That's a good question. I
Winning's
have no
winning,
idea,
money's
but
money. I don't know.
True, true.
yeah.
Yeah, so if he buys into whatever the Mets have going on here, like the Mets are obviously so built to win right now at this very moment, and you know it's like screw Brett Beatty, screw Vientos, screw Alvarez and Ronnie Mauricio. Like we're here right now. We want Jeff McNeil, we want Lindor, Correa. Like these guys are, the core for like 12 years for Correa. That's insane, man.
Freaking awesome though, dude. It doesn't hurt to have another superstar in the lineup. I bet you Beatty's gonna get reps in left field.
Left field.
People were saying it. Apparently, he played it in the minors a little bit.
Yeah, I think he's going to get reps out there. I think he starts here in AAA, depending if
Yes.
they trade Escobar. That's the real question because you're seeing he might be thrown out the door now that they brought Correa in just to shed some more money. But if they carry the year with Escobar, Beatty's probably going to start in AAA if I had to guess.
The depth on the roster is unreal. Like,
Not a
and
bad problem to have.
yeah, for real. They actually addressed the bullpen this time. That guy from the Rays is good, right? Brooks Raley.
Really? Yeah.
He's good.
I just assume because he's from the Rays, that he's really good. Like all those guys that come out of their bullpen, all their pitchers are great. The Rays.
And then when they brought Robertson in, I thought, no way they were bringing Ottavino back too, and they
Yep.
still just bring him back.
That was good. I liked Ottavino last year. I thought he had a pretty good year for the Mets, and then Robertson too. I talked with Python about how they should have gone after him at the deadline,
That
but
deadline
now they
swing
get
was
him now.
rough. No
Yeah,
pun intended. But
they brought Ruff back, right? Yeah,
ugh, send him to
Yeesh.
the moon next, please.
Seriously, he's got to be next, dude. He's
yeah.
bad.
I don't think he's gonna get too many cracks in the lineup. Like left-handed pitching,
Mm-mm.
and he couldn't do that spectacularly well
No.
in his time with the Mets last year. So we'll see what happens with that. But like a lineup prediction, we have Canna hitting 8th, maybe. Right? Like
It's
what's the top
ridiculous.
of the order? Like I saw yesterday, like Marte hitting 6th. That's
Well, yeah, that's the
insane.
real
Jesus
question.
Christ.
I wonder if they're gonna still go with Marte in the 2-hole and go with hitting Correa 5th, which would just be stupid. But because we know that they liked Marte in the 2-hole a lot, so I really wonder how they're gonna construct the lineup. Because you could go Nimmo, Marte, Lindor, Alonso, Correa, then McNeil and Vogelback. Vogelback 7th, and then Canna
Yeah.
8th. Like that's just stupid. That's just stupid. And to think that there's a chance maybe Otani's here by the deadline and he's in that
Oh.
lineup. I mean,
Well, now with them being set up to win right now, like it's okay to start talking about moving some of the prospects that the Mets have. Like before with the Soto talks, I wasn't really sold on, like the future outlook at, if we traded like Beatty included him in a package for Soto, what would happen at third base. But now that Correa is locked in there for the next 12 years, I don't know what his metrics or his stats are like defensively at third base or how much he's played. I know he's primarily a shortstop, but he's okay playing third base if it's with Lindor. But if you have Correa penciled in there for the next 12 years, now you could start saying like, yeah, I could give up this guy in the trade. Like I could give up Mauricio, I could give up Beatty or Vientos, maybe both. Maybe not Alvarez because the Mets need a catcher desperately. They haven't
I'd
had
rather
one.
them give up Parada.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, that's true, Parada. But like the baseball prospects, they take a little bit longer to develop. Might be good to hold on to Alvarez now, but but those other guys, you could start potentially packaging them in a trade for Otani. I don't. That would be crazy if that happens. I don't know what I would do, man. Like that. If Steve Cohen could make that happen, I could like never complain about like a manager, like a front office decision for like the next 5 years. I don't think I'll be able to because like they just gave so much to the fans in the last 2 years, and I was not expecting it. I was not expecting it to be that immediate. But when you have an owner that loves the Mets as much as Steve Cohen and has as much money as Steve Cohen, good things happen. I guess.
I'm willing to spend $30 on food at the stadium now. Like,
Right?
don't care.
You might get the ticket prices. Like I saw ticket prices towards the end of the season were like $15 for some seats. I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. I think everything is going up. But whatever, man, it's worth it. It'll be
The
worth
product's
it.
gonna be there, dude. You pay a premium for a good product.
Right, and the product. It's not like the product wasn't there last year. It was good, but now it's great. Projects to be great if everything goes well. Like knock on wood. Like man, man, it's gonna be so exciting. Like because now we have Buck, like an actually good manager, in charge of this roster. It's good for him too because he really hasn't had the best rosters throughout his career. I mean,
PTSD you gave me with Rojas. Oh,
yeah.
Yeesh. Good developmental coach though. Rojas just not in the MLB. Too much for the MLB for him.
All right. Yeah. Remember Mickey Callaway?
Oh my god.
ugh.
Oh my god.
Mr. I hate accountability.
That guy's a weird.
Battled.
Didn't he have like something with like some sexual abuse allegations recently? Was that him?
I think so.
It was not abuse. He was just like a predator. That was
Oh my god, what a nut.
weird.
He was like sending weird stuff to reporters, things like that, unconsensually. It was brutal.
God, I'm glad those days are over for Mets fans. We're surrounded by good press these days. Dude, we're on pace for like one superstar per offseason for Steve Cohen. Went from Lindor to Scherzer to now Correa. Every offseason we're getting a superstar.
Hey,
Got to be Shohei.
Verlander.
We got two.
Otani
Oh, yeah.
offseason.
Right, exactly.
Soto the year after.
Oh God.
I remember in like 2013, the Mets refused to sign anybody. Like they signed like Sean Markham and called it a day. They're like, oh yeah, we're good. Brandon
Rick
Lyon.
Porcello.
Oh yeah, that's even more recent.
Cy Young winner.
Oh my God.
It's like, let me go after Chris Capuano and that's it. There's our all-star.
Noria Yoki was hitting leadoff for us. Just the garbage that we had. Oh my God.
Yeah, when the big signings were Jed Lowry. Like that was like the big news of the offseason.
Yeah, that was our depth.
That was supposed to be good because he played well, except he didn't end up playing at all.
It's just brutal. Dude, I'm old enough to remember when the Mets got Moises Alou and it was like the biggest news ever. And that guy was a big well, actually he didn't do bad for the Mets, but he was 40 years old when we signed him.
Robinson Cano.
Oh.
Yeah, Robinson Cano. So that trade for Edwin Diaz is like I see Rob Luker post the picture all the time for the Rangers, but it's like I don't know how you did it. You did the wrong steps, but you got the right answer. I don't know how you did it. That was that trade there for the Mets.
Well, dude, it makes you wonder. Maybe Seattle knew that Cano sucked, and that when we took him on, it was more of like, all right, if you want Diaz so bad, you got to eat his contract for us.
Yeah, and then we had to give up Kelenic.
Yeesh.
That's the thing that's crazy too. Cano's still on the payroll for this year. It's ridiculous that he's still willing to spend that much.
But that's the same thing for a lot of baseball teams, though. Like they have a lot of players that their teams have a lot of players that they're going to be paying until like well past they retire because they defer the payment.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mets are like everybody picks on them because of Bobby Bonilla.
It's Steve Cohen's favorite day of the year. He tweets it out every year.
Yeah, it's going to mean nothing. It's going to mean nothing to him.
No,
he's gonna make all of his money back just for the product that he's putting out there, and I'm just so happy as a Mets fan. I'm glad that they're doing it. That Steve Cohen is doing everything he can, literally, to make the team as good as it can right now.
Even when he's on vacation, dude. He spent $315 million on one player on vacation.
Yeah.
Dude, I have a hard time spending $315 on vacation. This guy put 6 zeros after that.
I really want to know if he was drunk that night. That's what we need insight on, because he had to have been at least a little. At least a little.
Chugging margaritas.
I wouldn't even be mad because it's a good move. Like the Mets needed a bat, they needed an impact player, and he did it. It doesn't matter who it was. To me, it doesn't matter who it is. Like if it was Bogarts or if it's Devers or if he goes after Otani, which is still a possibility apparently. Maybe he trades for Mike Trout. Yeah, just give all the superstars. Why not?
Seriously.
Pay for everything. Oh man, but yeah.
He's like Randy with the balls in the wheelbarrow. That's what Steve Cohen
From
is.
South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things are looking good for
Strutting
the Mets until they're setting it. One of my friends told me like one of his friends is saying like you know the Mets are doing all these good things and they're setting me up for the biggest heartbreak in my life
Hope we didn't
because
jinx that.
I know I shouldn't jinx it, but it's just how
Those
it
are
is,
both
man.
wild card losses. Oh, how do you think I feel?
Oh,
That was a heartbreak.
Yeah.
One hit in game 3. One.
And Madison Bumgarner in 2016. I'm not over that.
I don't
I'm
think I'll
not
ever
over
look.
that.
The Lucas Duda throw. Ugh.
Oh my
Oh.
God, Lucas Duda. He was
That
a
was-
star for us back then. What happened?
Yeah, remember that year's opening day lineup was like with John Mayberry and
Oh my God.
Ruben Tejada and just all
Yeah,
these
our left
guys.
side was Ruben Tejada and Wilmer Flores. Like, what happened?
I think Michael Deaza was in there somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, Deaza was
He's a blast
2016.
in the past. Dude, he was
Deaza.
doing something. That was
Deaza.
2015 is when Conforto had his come up. I think it was
Yes.
Nimmo the year after, right?
Yeah, and I wonder if they're gonna bring Conforto back. That's another name. That's intriguing.
Yeah, he'd be a bench piece at this point.
I bet you it's
Or-
up to Conforto at this point because he might want a full-time job, but if he wants to win, come back.
Yeah.
I see
you're
them
off
more
it.
going for an AJ Pollock. I
I
think that's
agree.
who they end up landing.
Who'd they sign? Who'd they sign yesterday? They signed someone to $1 million deal with 4 years of control last night.
The guy from the White Sox.
He has a really funny name.
Rendick or something.
Mendick.
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 There you go.
Danny
Great
Mendick.
Yeah.
Yeah, people make a whole bunch of jokes with that name. Yeah, for sure. Oh man. But yeah, things are looking up for the Mets. I can't say enough good things about this offseason for them. Unbelievable, man.
This is the most excited I've been for a season in a while. Like last season, I was excited. This tops it by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Man.
only what 2-3 weeks ago we were saying, "Wow, the Mets really aren't as good going into next season as they were last season." Now it's like they've completely blown that last year's roster out of the roster. Out of the water.
Yeah, for sure. And
Wild.
I thought it was great last year, the team.
Yeah,
the
won
approach.
101 games. Can't really complain. And then
I
we've
know.
somehow eclipsed that in terms of the product we're putting on the field.
They just choked near the end. They went on their first cold streak of the year at the very end of the season.
Ugh,
So,
getting swept by the
note
Braves.
to self: get that out of the way at the start and not at the end.
Yeah, and for my sake too, because living in Charlotte, everyone around here is a freaking Braves fan. So I got
Ugh.
all I
It's
did
a
was hear
nightmare.
it. All I did was hear it. I was begging
Yeah.
for them to get eliminated.
Mets
Last thing,
collapse. Oh,
last thing on the Mets before we transition to the Rangers. Remember when we had a Danny Echeverria? I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but remember when we cut him right before the day before he was supposed to get like a bonus because he was on the roster after like June 30th.
Echeverria, man.
That's the
a
Brendan
level of
beefed with his
petty.
wife on like TikTok or something. It was funny.
Dude. Those days are in the past now. Steve Cohen could honestly piss away $2
Isn't it
million.
so nice
every
talking about
play.
a sport that doesn't have a salary cap?
Yeah,
Isn't it so nice?
seriously. Oh my God. The
Yeah.
NHL's got to adopt that, dude.
I don't think it's difficult. I don't know.
Just a
I don't
soft
know.
cap. Just a soft cap. Give me something to work with here.
I didn't believe any of those rumors that like it was going to go up $3-4 million. I thought that was ridiculous. I'm like, where are you getting that money from? There's no way viewership went up that much.
I think that was Bettman trying to coerce the players to pay off more of their what's it called? What do they owe?
Escrow.
Escrow. Yeah, I think that was him trying to motivate them to pay it off faster so they can raise the cap more. But I think that was another tactic to turn the fans against the players with escrow and all the old heads and junk like that. But I don't think the cap's jumping this next season. This season after it'll jump.
Yep, and then the Rangers will move Philip Hedl and keep
Yes.
Barker around.
I
Oh
swear
my
to God.
God.
I
Get me started
swear
with that.
to God, if that happens, I'll be really mad. I'll be really mad because now I'm falling in love with Hedel. He's a real deal. He's a really good player, especially like right now. He's on a streak. The guy just needs to stay healthy. That's it. I'm glad that he was able to work his way in the lineup against Pittsburgh. I'm glad that that hit was. You guys saw that right in the Chicago game.
Yeah. Like I knew
So
you
like
guys.
I'm glad that he didn't get like really hurt or anything. I was concerned that he came out of that game, but they were saying, probably it's, there's no reason to go back into the game. They were already winning. Might as well just take it safe, play it safe. I agree with that. Good thing that he
Hedel's
able
a
to
sign
go.
of patience showing off. Like this is year 5 for Hedel, and you could argue he's one of the better forwards on the Rangers right now.
Yeah, like even strength wise, he's great. Makes his own zone entries. Great skater, terrific shot. Now he's starting to play a little bit more defense. He's starting to back check a little bit more. Love to see it.
He
And
can maybe just win some faceoffs. That would
yeah,
help.
yeah.
Yeah.
All comes with time, I'd say, with him. It'd be interesting to see how he looks at the wing. But
Well, you
it,
know what? I wish he'd get a little bit more playoff time because Philip Hedel right now in the Rangers, and I'm looking at it, despite playing about 10 less games than every other forward on the Rangers team, he's 4th on the Rangers in even strength points. He's 3rd in even strength points for Rangers forwards, only behind Panarin and Zibanejad. So, I mean, he's doing pretty dang good right now, and I wish Hedel would get more ice, man. It might all be in the colored visor. I don't know, but the kid is just on something this year.
yeah, he's really feeling it, and his confidence is at an all time high. Like it's
Mhm.
been gradually going up year after year, but this year he looks great. Looks decisive with the puck. He's actually able to generate. He doesn't need anybody else to generate offense. He's the one generating all the chances.
Mm-hmm.
Like last week, I called him the quarterback of the kid line, and
Yeah.
I think it's true. And then he scored a goal on the power play.
He
Go
drives
figure
so
on
Finally
the
well,
out there
power
man.
in the
play.
final minutes of the game the other night instead of Barker Goodrow. Hallelujah.
That yeah, the lines are like far from perfect in my opinion. It's there's some tinkering that needs to be done. I'm still trying to figure out what those perfect lines are that Gallant was hinting at earlier this week. I
Ugh.
would love to know what those are, and if he's just waiting on like a player to maybe get comfortable. Maybe it's Kravtsov. Maybe it is Kravtsov because Kravtsov's been playing on like the 4th line, but he doesn't get that much ice time. I have his
Like
on
8
ice
minutes.
statistics pulled up. So in 14 games this year, 136 minutes and 49 seconds total time on ice. That's like it says time on ice per game is like 945, 946. Um his rates are incredible. Like his Corsi for like shot attempts 52.6 16%. Shots for 50.4%. That's good. Over 50% is great. When he's man, goals for percentage per 60 minutes. So like if you stretch it out so that he's playing like a full 60-minute game, 77.78%. That's
Jesus.
unheard of. Outstanding. Expected
Christ
goals too per
almighty.
60%, 56.93. So he's doing great. He needs to be in the lineup. I don't know what the reason is to get him out of the lineup. He's obviously the better player over Sammy Blais. I like Brodzinski, but long term, Brodzinski can't be your 4th line center. Like, I'm sorry, you have options right now that are possible pieces of your future that you should be playing. Gauthier is one of them. That's a huge one. I don't know why he's out of the lineup. I'm
Makes
really,
no
really hoping that it's not because Gallant thinks Blay is playing better than him.
sense.
I'm really hoping that it's because he wants Blay to get, a couple games here and there so that he stays fresh in case there's an injury. I'm really hoping that's the case because if it isn't, I have no idea what Glenn is looking at. That guy, Gauthier, draws more penalties than any player on the team. He's one of the best penalty drawers in the league. He draws more individuals. He makes more individual scoring chances. The guy's is a beast out there, but he only gets like a little bit of ice time. So I don't know what the thinking is to scratch him. What do you guys think?
You go first, Python.
It's not even just the drawing penalties. Like I feel like he just really helps drive the fourth line's offense also. And I feel like he's not getting enough. He's another one that's not getting enough ice time either when he's in the lineup. Like utilize your fourth line more. There's a reason that you got to roll out all four lines. There's a reason down the stretch last season you were getting production from every single line because you used them more equally. Granted, I know that it was more because the K line was buzzing. You had Tyler Mott on the team as well, but with the way Kravtsov, Gauthier, and even Brzezinski, I think it's been good enough. You got to give these guys more ice time and just let them play, let them fly, and you're gonna start seeing the production, especially from Kravtsov. He's so close with the lineups too. Just put Kravtsov on the top line and move Gaudreau down. I don't see the harm in it. And with the metrics that you just said with Kravtsov, him with Panarin and Zibanejad, that could be scary if you just let it happen.
Yeah, it's if you just let it happen. Go ahead, Nick. You want to add on to that?
I actually agree with everything you said, and I would honestly just regurgitate that. It makes no sense that Gaudreau continues to find his way anywhere that isn't the fourth line. I don't know what the harm is on putting a Gauthier or a Kravtsov in the top nine. At the very least, giving it a shot. And about like those perfect lines, you're a head coach in the NHL. Your main objective is to lose games. Why would you say I have the perfect lines and dangle them like a carrot instead of just putting them on the ice to win games, which is what you're being paid millions of dollars to do? Just makes no sense to me.
It's funny too because he says I have the perfect lines as the Rangers are in the middle of a 7-game winning streak or whatever, however many games it was at the time.
Seriously.
So you're saying this could get better?
They just like it just makes no sense to me. To tell you the truth, dude, if we're just talking just how players might bounce off each other and just that and the other thing, I think having Gaudreau and Gauthier on a line together would actually be pretty damn effective. Both players could forecheck. Gauthier could drive offense, and we've seen how good Barclay Goodrow is in front of the net, whether it's deflecting pucks or picking up rebounds. And what does Julien Gauthier do more than any other player on the Rangers? Drives the net, and there always seems to be a rebound or a loose puck after he does so. Maybe Barclay Goodrow on a line with him could knock in those rebounds.
He always seems to do something when he's out there. So that's why I like him on the fourth line. Like I don't necessarily need him in a top 6 role. Like just as long as you make the other team run around there for a little bit, no?
Tire them out, draw a penalty. That's what he's good at. That's what he needs to do. Like Julien Gauthier is a phenomenal athlete. He lacks a lot of hockey IQ that NHLers do possess, but he's a phenomenal athlete. The guy's 230 pounds, and he's one of the fastest players, if not the fastest forward skater on the Rangers. Why not just let him play his game? Put on someone that can knock in his rebounds.
Yeah, it's frustrating to see Gauthier come out of the lineup. I've been such a big supporter of him, and it's really frustrating. Like I don't understand what Blay is doing to get in there. Maybe they are trying to keep him fresh.
Blay
Maybe gearing up for a trade.
He at least fights or anything. He literally does nothing for the team at all. I don't understand. At least Ryan Reeves brought that element. If you wanted to argue anything, like I just don't understand what Blay's doing to get in the lineup continuously unless he's the coach's son and the new Nemeth. I don't know.
For real. He's got like dirt on the organization.
Like, dude, he lost such a step from last season. It is a shame because I'm sure we could all admit Sammy Blais prior to Subban destroying his knee was looked excellent for us. He was all over the ice. He was fast. He had hands. He had a shot. Again, I think I mentioned this the last time we talked, but that goal, I think he scored in the preseason. It might have been Nashville, but actually it might have even been New Jersey where he cut low, drove the net, came out in front, or he dangled somebody. Dude, I don't know what
that
it was.
That was New Jersey.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
It was in the preseason, though. Yeah, that was nice.
It was ridiculous. Like that Sammy Blais, he doesn't exist anymore. And I attribute a lot to his knee injury, but listen, he's making his money. The NHL it's about winning. It's what are you doing for me now, not what you do for me before. Right now you're not winning with him. He lost a step, and I feel bad for him, but I'm sorry. This is a business. This is a winning league. You got to move on.
And it has to do with the trade. You're not making the trade look good. Just accept it. It's over.
100%. And he's taking a valuable cap space that the Rangers are going to need at the deadline if they want to make a lot of moves.
I think he becomes a trade piece at the deadline. And then maybe if you want to replace him, you got guys in AHL. You got like Will Cooley's down there you could bring up. Reedall,
Mhm.
yeah. Payuniemi if he's ready. If anything, if you want to get some goal scoring maybe in the lineup, if you need like, you know, one shot,
Mhm.
like
Still get
he could make
Brzezinski
yeah,
too, who's
yeah,
also in the NHL.
you have Brodzinski, yes. Yeah, I went to the game on Saturday in Philly, and I said at the beginning of the game, like, "Oh yeah, Gaudreau on the top line. Oh man, I'm ready for another game where he sucks." And oh my God, he played out of his mind. Like he's like the remember in like the 2020, 2021, the shortened season when Blackwell kept getting top six ice time. Like was good. Like
Mhm.
nothing wrong with Blackwell. It's just he's not the one that needed to get the ice time in that spot. Except and then he just kept scoring goals.
Mhm.
Goudreau keeps getting points. He's not the one that needs to be up there, but he's the one that keeps getting the points. And honestly, I might buy into that narrative that Panarin likes those puck retrievers, like those guys that get into the corners because that's what he
Mhm.
does. That's all Goudreau is good at. Like he's good at along the boards. I mean, at least in a top six role, that's all he's good
Right.
at is he does make a couple good passes here and there too, which
Mhm.
is outstanding. He's like playing some of the best hockey he's of his life right now. He's got to be. But
Yeah.
long term, I don't think he's the answer there.
I think he's a good plug every now and again. Like, if God forbid somebody goes down, you plug him in there. But otherwise, I think there's players better than him that could be puck retrievers if we need him to.
And like analytics wise, it's not the numbers haven't been the greatest for the team. But now like the team is actually getting the results. They
Mhm.
look more like last year's team. Rely on Shesterkin, get a good power play here and there, penalty kill.
It just makes
Mhm.
no sense to me. It makes none. They were so analytically good at the beginning of the year, losing games, and now they're getting rewarded for getting bailed out by goaltending again.
Mhm.
The sport doesn't make sense. It
Like
really
the
doesn't.
like the numbers right now, they're catching up with all those expected goals totals, those probabilities that they had at the beginning of the year, and now they're not getting the chances. So
Mhm.
before they were getting all the chances and none of the goals. Now they're getting all the goals but none of the chances. They're getting like those one shot, one goal opportunities, like where it's just
Mhm.
you get the good the clutch factor, whatever you want to call it. It's just they're getting they're getting they're cashing in on the good chances that they have. Um, the goals for percentage during this winning streak was through the roof,
Ridiculous.
65.71%.
Ridiculous. It's
It was
wild.
exactly 50% right before the streak, right
Oh
before the
my
game against St. Louis.
god.
hmm
Jesus Christmas.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
actually wild.
the shooting percentage, the team shooting percentage from the game against the Blues to the loss against the Penguins was 13%. From the start of the season to right before the Blues game, 7.5%.
Damn.
Jesus.
Yep, yep. That's the that's like
Wow.
it's been two stories really. Like it's been night and day. I love seeing the Rangers dominate the games, but it's I also want to see the wins too. Like
Yeah.
where the goal is going to come, when
That's
is
what
this going to
counts.
happen? And there I think like Gallant and you could even consider James Dolan to be an important factor in this process is that those guys are very impatient
Mhm.
because of the New York. You want success, you want results right now. ECF last year, you want to start winning games. It would be an embarrassment if they were towards the bottom of the league with this roster.
Mhm.
So they must feel like they have to do something, even though that something is not really what's going to it shouldn't work, but it is. These lines really shouldn't like Goudreau on the top line shouldn't work, but it is.
No.
I don't know why.
For now. For now.
Kreider, Trocheck, and VZ though, I think that line
Love it.
needs to stay together. I think it's great.
Love it.
I agree. I love that
Love
line.
it. They
The
bounce off each other well, dude. I mean, they work together just about as perfect as you need a third line to right now.
That's a north-south line. Trocheck was talking about that. They all play the exact same way, and they're all capable of doing the same exact stuff. Like
Right.
Kreider could play defense,
Mhm.
VZ could play offense. Trocheck is good at both. Like VZ's more of a defensive forward, Kreider's more of an offensive forward. But they could both, in a pinch, they could do whatever. They all three of those guys kill penalties. They're great. Really
Almost
good third line.
almost reminiscent, not their play style, but their efficiency of the Brass-Zook Pouliot line.
You think so?
Not as their style, but in terms of their efficiency for a line that's just either the second or third line on any given night. I think at least their production is reminiscent of it, and the fact that even if they're not scoring on any given shift, like that line, like the Brass-Zook Pouliot line, they always provide energy. Every shift
I
they're out there, there's energy, and they are just buzzing all over the ice.
Are you
Sounds like
saying
a
like
cold take of the week, eh?
yeah, okay, all right, all right, all right.
At least energy-wise, they provide energy when they're not scoring, and I don't know, they work well. For some reason, I get these vibes between Trocheck and Kreider that they just freaking work. I don't know why. I don't know. Actually, I'll tell you why I think it works. I think Trocheck has actually brought out some of the physicality in Kreider again, something we haven't seen in a while. Like Kreider this season is throwing bodies in the corner and down low, like on a consistent basis, not just when he feels like it, all the time. And I love watching it.
Kreider, Trocheck, Veezy as Brassard, Pouliot, Zuccarello. That the comparison?
Not in style, but
Like
in efficiency.
efficiency, as in like, does this work versus does it not?
Just the fact that it works
Yeah,
perfectly. I mean,
yeah.
you take VC and you compare him to Pouliot, a guy on a 1 year sort of just try it. Listen, you'll probably get replaced at the deadline, but oh my God, you worked out. You can stay past the deadline and come on a playoff run with us.
Yeah,
type thing.
no, there's no replacing VZ. His value's been
We're good right now.
Don't
outstanding.
tell management that, because like I said, Joe and VC are staying over Heedle. Then
Yep.
don't tell management.
Yeah,
VC's
no,
gonna get a 4x4 after this season.
no, my God, no. You know what would be great for him? Like a Nick Paul contract, like 7x2, something like
Freaking Nick
that.
Paul, dude. What a move that would have been for the Rangers if they would have gotten him. Oh my God.
Those depth players. I said
They
it on the other
work,
show.
dude.
The other
Yeah.
show I did this week, like Brandon Hagel was worth so much because cost controlled a bottom six piece. I think they locked him up, right? He's locked up, Brandon Hagel.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
wait,
a
Yeah.
did
tough
they?
conversation for the president of the Tyler Mott community.
Oh, give me Mott back, please.
That would
Please
be
bring him back.
a really like I would do Blay for Mott straight up.
It should have just been in the off season.
Yeah,
I know.
Ugh,
The thing there was the Reeves extension shouldn't have happened right
that's
away.
true.
Like if you
Made no
trading
sense.
for him was fine, but you shouldn't have given him the extension like a year in advance. Like you should have waited to see how everything played out. Because Reeves
I
was
just don't
good for that
understand how
first year.
he was, but like, was he worth a whole third-round pick? Like, they couldn't negotiate like really like a third-round pick for this guy. Like, they couldn't just maybe I'm being stingy, but maybe like a fourth or a fifth, kind of what we
I
traded him
agree.
for.
We gave less for Tyler Mott. It doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we gave up a pick in one of the first 90 picks in the draft for a guy that we knew his one role was to throw bodies, play 6 minutes a night, and get into the occasional fight. I just don't know how that was worth a third-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm being a little bit too much, but I just never understood it.
And he
Yeah.
got more ice time than that because Gallant loved playing him.
Seriously. The nights where he played more than Kako.
He's been running the kids out there. He's been running the kid line out there. What are we thinking about the kid line? We think they should stay together or no?
Yes. They should remain the second line.
The second line,
17
yeah.
points during that 7-game win streak combined.
Seriously.
Yeah. Keep them
17 combined.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, dude. That was the best. That was awesome.
I do notice that they give up a lot of chances, but they are exciting. They're filled with energy. All of them look like they're playing great right now. Like they're all playing great. They all look confident, stuff like that, you know. And then like you could make a decision, you know, if you want to increase another line scoring, you could break it up for a little bit. But right now, I think it looks pretty good.
I think the confidence with them is the most important thing because when they lack confidence, it shows. They're not making plays. They're dumping the puck in, playing that David Quinn hockey. They look so good lately. They look like they're hungry for the puck. They want it. It doesn't just explode off of their stick or, you know, they don't treat it like a grenade. They're actually like caressing the puck, making moves with it. And God, it's nice to watch.
The only one I'd say that has been playing that way lately is Laffy. I haven't been liking his game as much. There are times where he looks scared with the puck. He's dumping it in. And there are times where he's just refusing to get in on the forecheck every once in a while. I'd like to see a bit more from him. But even that, I looked at his possession metrics recently. I was shocked to see his Corsi at like 54% or something recently
What?
Really?
at even
See,
strength.
you see what I mean? Like, I swear, with those
Wow.
analytics, sometimes it's like, where are you getting this from? And it's like when it's really good, like for a player you wouldn't expect, it's like, what? How is that possible? And then when it's for like Gauthier, who I think is amazing, all of his metrics are below 50%.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why? How? How is this possible? How? I don't
That
get
is
it.
wild.
I would
Well,
love to understand that a little bit more. Like, why does it seem like the good players have bad analytics, but the people I think are bad, have good analytics? I don't get it.
that's actually wild that his Corsi's that positive.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
I
I
would
couldn't
doesn't
believe it.
seem
That's
like he has the
crazy.
puck a lot.
That's crazy.
I'm
That is
I'm
wild.
looking up Tyler Mott's stats right
Ugh.
now because I'm in pain, Tyler Mott. Yeah, all below 50%, but like, um, yeah, he still would be a good player to have back. He's not really an offensive guy. He's more of a defensive, like, penalty killer guy. What is like giveaways to takeaways? Um, yeah, for his career, he's a pretty solid defensive. He draws a lot of penalties. Oh, I love that. I
Mhm.
love that.
I bet you they revisit bringing him back at the deadline. If for nothing else than like a failsafe. I just don't see how they don't bring him back.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like, that wasn't even Drury's move. That was like somebody else in
No.
the room was like, "Oh yeah, this guy. Like, you should go
Mhm.
after him." And it's like, "Oh yeah, this guy's good." Like, I don't know anything about this guy. This guy's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully they go for something like that. That would be awesome. That would be
I'd
awesome.
love an intriguing fourth liner on my list for them to get at the deadlines. Nick Bonino.
Yes. God, yes, please. I love Benino, dude.
Guy
He
who's
would
been
be freaking awesome.
yeah.
He's definitely towards the top of my list. I'm trying to think of others. I really wonder too if they go the route of a guy like doing like a Hagel like move where they try to get a guy that has an extra year left on his contract, maybe at some retained salary, and give up extra assets just to have a guy for the extra year next year with how tight they're going to be on cap. Who that guy is, no idea. But the only guy that comes to my mind is Jack Roslovic. That's really about it
That
for
wouldn't be a
guys
bad
like
pickup
that.
at all.
Mm.
That would be a nice little pickup.
We were
That would be
Nick
sneaky pickup.
Nick and I were talking a few weeks ago also about Gavrikov, and
Gavrikov, I'd love
Dude,
Gavrikov on the team. I
that's
watched
a
he'd be
that when you
freaking
guys
that's a
were
awesome.
back.
great third pair defenseman. That's like
Seriously.
that's like Strawman or Klein written all over him.
No love to Ben Harper.
Hmm.
I know. Yeah.
Harper's been solid to his
Yeah, he's
credit.
been all
He's been
right.
all right.
Yeah,
He's replaceable. Don't get me wrong. He's absolutely replaceable, but he hasn't played bad given, where he came from.
And the
right.
joke of it is when they get it a third pair D man, he's going to be the one out of here, and Hayek's still going to somehow stay on the roster.
Yeah, Hayek's our deadline pickup, actually.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
my bad. The internal pickup.
The analytics. Speaking of third pair defensemen, the analytics may say that Schneider is like, gets a lot of stuff against him, like he's less than 50% or whatever. But he's been playing really, really well. Like, of course, somebody's gonna
He's awesome.
you're gonna get chances against your team at some point during the game.
Mhm.
So it'll probably come against like your weaker lines, right? Like your third line, your fourth line, third pair defensive. But he does a good
Well,
job of
also,
breaking up those plays. Really,
he
really good
does. You
job
could
doing
you could
that.
almost argue that he's essentially carrying whoever his partner is night after night. I think Schneider's good enough to the point where he's essentially carrying that third pair.
Yeah, I say so for sure.
Agree. He had a lot of great noticeable plays against Pittsburgh last game. A lot.
Mhm.
That break up in front for Crosby and Raquel, I think it
Mhm.
was beautiful. He
Beautiful.
looks better and better, and it's weird because it looked like he was struggling at the beginning of the year, and it looked like, man, they messed up and they should have kept Niels. But now I'm loving Schneider's play.
I still go back to like, there's no telling whether Lundqvist would have done the same thing that he's doing in Dallas over here, like
He
because
wouldn't
the
have.
Rangers are
There's
cursed in
no
that
room for
department.
him. He just didn't have
Yeah,
space for him. I don't I don't think it was ever really meant to be for Nils. Like he played awesome in Sweden, and everyone. I think we all wanted him to work out. It's just there was too many guys in front of him. I mean, who could have predicted Schneider playing in the NHL after being the 19th overall pick? Like not even 2 full years after he was drafted.
Mm-hmm. Right.
No one could have predicted that. That was wild. We were all saying he wouldn't be in the NHL for 4 years. That's what scouts were saying.
I don't think Gallant would have used Lundqvist anyways, even if he was good. Like because he did put up pretty good metrics last year, and he didn't use him. He didn't use him. Same deal with Kravtsov.
He'd throw Trouba still out there as the power play quarterback over Lundqvist.
Seriously.
It would have been ridiculous.
What's that?
I said he still would have thrown Trouba out there as the second power play quarterback instead of Niels Lundqvist if Niels stuck around.
Trouba's kind of stepped it up recently. I'll have to admit he has stepped it up a bit. Still,
if he made $5 million less, I wouldn't mind him.
I know, man. I know. I was literally seconds away from saying the Rangers shouldn't have traded Zuccarello. That's who the captain should have been.
Zuccarello on that first line right now would be disgusting.
Man, oh my God! Like, all right, dare I say, I think the Rangers should trade for Patrick Kane if the price is right.
If the price is right,
no, I'm still very anti-Kane. I really am. I feel like there's names that you could get for a more reasonable price. I feel like he's still going to cost a lot unless he goes out publicly and says, I only want to play for the New York Rangers. That's the only team I'm waiving my no trade clause for. Then sure, go ahead.
That's what I mean. No. That's what I mean.
If he's willing to do that, then great. But I still see a scenario where it's going to be a bidding war and he's going to waive for other teams also. Like, I think that Colorado's going to be in the mix because they just always are. Edmonton will probably be back in the mix as well for him. There's going to be other teams where I don't think it's going to be worth giving up the assets.
I don't know, man. I think I have a feeling that he's going to say like the Rangers and only the Rangers, and that's it.
I hope so, dude.
Like
if he does that, that drives
the only way. That's the only way because then the asking price will be too high otherwise. Like I was talking to the co-host on the other show that I was on this week about what it would take to get Patrick Kane, and they're like, "Oh, Lafreniere and Miller." I'm like, "No, you can't do that." What?
Yeah, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, maybe 10 years ago. But that's the thing. You're trading for the player he is right now and the value he has right now, not for what he once was. Like, he's got 1 year left. It's only going to be like 20 games plus the playoffs if you make the move at the deadline, that is. And he's 34. And he hasn't had the best year so far this year. Let's face it.
The thing is that
22 points there on games.
Panarin's going to need to start shooting the puck more if Patrick Kane's going to come to town because I refuse to watch the two of them just pass the puck back and forth all game. I refuse. And
and I think that would be something that they could that they'd buy into. I think that especially with the games becoming more meaningful after the trade deadline, I think that's something that they would start doing more if a move like that happened. But again, price has to be right. I'm not going over Kravtsov and a first round pick. That's it. Sorry.
And the real question is, does Zibanejad stay their center? Because Zibanejad likes to have the puck on his stick, and there is something to be said about having too many cooks in the kitchen.
I would say Panarin, Hedl, Kane.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But then again, Hedl also likes to drive offense on his stick. So it's like you got to wonder who they put. Yeah, right, 100%.
Barclay Goodrow.
Hey, but seriously though, that's might end up being a possibility. I mean, when Kane and Panarin played together, Artem Anisimov was there.
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Yeah,
that's what I
would be like that.
I feel Hedl is like the Anisimov here because Anisimov was once this really talented player. The Rangers thought very highly of him. Hedl is this very talented player that the Rangers probably think very highly. Hopefully, they still do. And
gotta hope
extend him.
Let's say there's still injuries here. You never know.
They might be able to lock him up, man. Like they might be able to give him an 8-year contract. Like
they
8
need
years.
to
They
be smart about it.
I still have this gut feeling that they're gonna move him. I really don't know
hope
why
not,
I have this
dude.
gut feeling. Like
I hope not.
I don't want it, but it wouldn't shock me. Just with the amount they're paying Trocheck and Zibanejad, I feel like that's going to be their excuse as to why they're not going to pay a guy like Hedl, even though the right thing to do is to move Barca Goudreau and
Yes.
keep Filipino, but
Find a way to get rid of Truba too, please, for the
um,
love of all of us.
Also have to consider we have dead cap coming off the books next year, so there's some freed up space there. No, there's
I
also
really still wonder what a Laffy and Miller extension look like. Miller, I feel like we have more of a clear picture of,
Yes,
but Laffy, I really don't know
going to be a
what he
bridge
gets.
deal for Lafreniere.
it has to be. I think
Yeah.
Miller's going to get close to like what Brady Shea and Ryan McDonough got
You
after
think
their
he's done enough so
PLCs.
far to do that?
If you had an opportunity, what was hold on.
If he
Let's
plays
do
like
some
he is
fun
right
math.
now for the rest of the season, then yeah. But like it took this long for him to get to where he is right now. Like in terms of this season, like right now, I feel like he's back to whatever he was doing in the playoffs. Right now, he's
So
playing really good.
so when Gordon signed Brady Shea to his extension, he gave him 6 years, 31.5 million over the contract. That's 6.6% of the cap hit at the time of the contract. So what's the cap going to next season? 82 and a half?
83.5.
Eighth. Okay. So that would essentially be Keandre Miller, 6, 7, or 8 years. You pick, you decide. 6, 7, or 8 years at less than 5.5 a year.
Oh man,
I'd feel very comfortable paying Keandre Miller, and I would argue it'd probably be a bargain paying Keandre Miller 5.5 million a year for the next between 6 and 8 years, because Keandre Miller, where he's at now, you could probably argue this season is worth 5.5 million. And if he continues to get better and you bridge him this year, well, then you're probably talking closer to maybe a $7 or $8 million defenseman, and then you dig yourself in a bit of a hole.
the
Completely
question
agree.
I think becomes like about moving Lindgren again, which I'm still on
I'm
the fence about doing that.
I'm a little curious on the Lindgren case too. I don't know. That's a tough. Lindgren's got what, another year after this year?
And I really don't see them moving Barkley Goudreau anytime soon.
It's just who do you replace Lindgren with? Like
That's the
Mhm.
thing.
that at that price, who? I
Mhm.
really don't know.
It's a
He's
tough
too good at what he
question.
does. He's a leader too. Everyone likes the guy. Matthew Robinson hasn't showed enough at this point that he could be another Ryan Lindgren. Lindgren just has way too many intangibles. I just think I think he's worth too much right now to get rid of Ryan Lindgren at any point.
That's gonna be a tough one though for Lindgren because his style of player we've seen does not age well at all. So I'm
That's why
interested
I'm
to
At
see.
fine with
Mark
him until
Stahl.
his contract's up. Because if he demands like north of 4 or 5 million after this deal, then yeah, see you later. But
Yeah,
for right now, you got to keep him around at this cap hit, no question.
I agree.
Lindgren, right? Yeah. It's really
100%.
tough because there's no other options that they have except Goudreau. Like that's the
Pretty much just Goudreau, yeah. And Goudreau has a modified no trade clause, so really all the Rangers have to do is ask him who would you go to, and they'd have to just make it work from there. Whereas Trouba, on the other hand, has a full no moving clause this year, a full no move next year, and the year after that it goes to a modified no trade. So
I really
Trouba we're stuck with for another year and a half at least.
I really don't see Goudreau moving. Like yeah,
I
it
don't
took
know either.
That's why I have this gut feeling Heedle's going to be moved.
that's why I have this
God, I
this
hope
this
not.
feeling like the Rangers are I don't know. This is a conspiracy theory for sure. Like the Rangers are telling upper management's telling Lafreniere, "Hey, don't break out just yet because we're going to be in cap hell if you break out right now. We won't be able to extend you. So be modest right now. Don't get too many points, and
I
we'll give
wonder.
you a bridge
God.
deal, $2 million for 2 years.
I wonder if
I
they
swear.
regret not giving
Laffy's gonna
Fox.
get more than Kako got on a bridge.
Yeah, agree.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it like the draft pedigree matters as much. It's all about like what they're worth. Honestly, they thought we thought Kako was gonna get more than Heedle, and he didn't.
Yeah, but also the thing with hold on, I gotta pull up this thing now because I'm so
What did
lazy with this
Kako
stuff.
end up getting? 2 million,
Yeah,
2.1.
2 million.
2.1 over 2. But
Yeah.
here's the thing with Lafreniere. So Lafreniere, if he's gonna argue anything, he had 19 goals last year,
Mm-hmm.
pacing for about 40 points this year, whereas Kako, what did he do prior to
40
signing his
points for
extension?
Lafreniere this year would be pretty good.
It's solid, but you got to realize Kako last year had 18 points in 43 games. That before I paced him for 35 points, so he really didn't I don't know. I think Lafreniere has a right to ask for more money than Kako got, and I think he's going to get more money than Kako got. I just don't know how much more. I mean, I don't know how you could justify paying Lafreniere like $3 million a year. I don't think he's done nearly enough to do that yet. Even if he does score 40 points this year, I don't know. I'm not a fan of screwing over players and using the card on them, but
right. Yeah, there's no way like you could. I don't think it's time to go for the bargain deal with Lafreniere now. He hasn't proved enough. Miller, maybe.
I wonder if they regret
I think
not
Miller's a
bridging
safer bet.
Fox. At least a bit.
Mhm.
I said I wonder if they don't regret bridging Fox.
I'm wondering that myself.
Yeah.
Well, Fox is worth everything you give that guy, but I see what you're saying.
$9.5 million though. That's like
It's close to a bargain right now.
worth it. He's worth it.
Actually,
You look at all the other defensemen there is like that are making 9.5, like Nurse and Jones. Like what?
Oh my.
He is.
Like, no way those guys are that much money.
I wouldn't mind him getting the extra million or two when Trouba's off the books if you did bridge him, because if you were able to clear Trouba, you just give an extra million or two to Fox after that. And I'm fine with that, but I don't know, because there was really nowhere else to save cap at all. There really wasn't.
And then again, I think Fox had a right to ask for like a big payday.
Agree.
Absolutely.
I don't know about maybe not like his real contract, but like significantly, like maybe $6 billion for 3 years.
And he's
kind of
still
like what Tampa Bay did with Braden Point.
Right. I mean, he's only tied fourth. He's only the fourth highest paid defenseman. You could argue that he's one of the top defensemen in the league. He sits behind Erik Karlsson, Doughty, and Werenski. He's tied with McAvoy, Seth Jones. It's wild. I think Fox he's Adam Fox. I think he's right now the face of the franchise, but him and Shesterkin.
But we already know that like that's. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say when they have to pay Igor, oh forget it.
Igor's gonna ask for a lot of money.
That's bargain contract right now.
Yeah, that's a
makes you wonder why they didn't give him the 8-year deal after his first season, because now you went from probably being able to get 8 years, $8 million a year to his next contract. He's probably gonna want north of 10.
Oh yeah,
especially
that's gonna be a tough going up.
We already know this though, like that none of this would have happened if like we didn't think that the cap was going to stay like this for this long. Like no, we signed Trouba to that deal expecting it to rise significantly, and now it's like we're stuck at the same place. So
yep.
What are you
and you know that these agents aren't going to look at it like dollars and cents. They're going to look at it like percentages. So when Shesterkin's asking for money, we say 10 million, but you know, if the salary cap, let's play pretend, is 95 million, and he wants what was Lundqvist's percentage? He made $8.5 million. I'm sorry, I'm doing way too much math right now. This is giving me a headache. But let's see what Lundqvist's thing was. When Lundqvist signed, I want to say it was probably a little over 10% when he signed. 10%, like let's see. He 13.22% was yes, when Lundqvist signed his extension, assuming Shesterkin's agent is going to tell him, yeah, you're going to want equivalent to that. You're looking at 13.22 times, let's pretend 95, $12.5 million a year, over $12.5 million, 12.559.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot.
It's a lot of money, but when you're working in percentages, right? When you're just using it as a percentage of the cap hit, it's still a lot. You're talking almost 14% of your entire cap allocated to a single player. Now, granted, Shesterkin steals the Rangers' wins and is probably the reason the Rangers got as far as it did last year and will get far again this year. But, oh, man, I kind of hope he maybe takes a deal to stay.
I'd still rather have this cap situation than like Edmonton's, because Edmonton is too much. They don't have anything. After like their top 6, they got nothing. Literally nothing.
McDavid only has 4 years left on his contract, but man, he's gonna look good in a Rangers jersey.
I know, right, man?
Even Draisaitl, he's only got 3 years left.
For Igor, but like my pipe dream is Matthews in a few years if they could clear Kreider and Trouba off the Bucks.
Dude, imagine. Hold on, that's a good point you just made right there. Not that I'm advocating for, but we're talking about players that you could potentially move. Again, I'm not advocating for it, but if the Rangers do get in a cap crunch, what are the odds they move Chris Kreider? I believe his no movement clause ends this year. No, it ends after next year. I
No, it's the
apologize.
same as
2024, 2025.
yeah,
Same
same
as
as Truba. Yeah.
I don't think that's happening.
Oh, I don't
Sorry,
think so either. But in
It-
a crunch,
unless some like rule change where it's like we could modify the cap hits of the players or something comes in,
yeah, like
then the Rangers are going
restructure.
to be in, and you know they got some serious work to do. Chris Drury's
No,
smart. He's a
he
smart
is.
general manager. I mean, some of his moves were head scratchers for sure, but he has hit on a lot of moves that he's made. So I have faith in him. I think he's calling the shots there. I know, Nick, you like to think Glenn Sather's still up his ear or whatever, but I
God,
I
I
think
think he's like Emperor Palpatine, bro. He
I
is
think he's
behind
up
the
in his
scenes
ear, yeah,
working
but
like
I
I
think
agree.
puppet.
I also think Drury is also capable of saying no. For
Oh,
some
absolutely.
reason, I have a
Hmm.
feeling that he is capable of saying no, screw you. I'm
Hmm.
doing my thing here. This is what
Right.
we're doing, and that's it. I hope that's the case. I really,
You
really
need
hope that's the
you've
case.
you've got to hope, especially with the fact that the Rangers have really good young prospects. You don't want to see them go away for like the classic Rangers move of trading good prospects for one, aging players, and two, players that you only see for 20 or 30 games and they become free agents, go elsewhere, and then screw you. Brennan Othman is a
100%.
player I am very afraid they're going to move, and I really hope they
I
don't.
I think Drury
Yeah.
loves Othman.
I hope so, because that kid looks like he's like Ryan Callahan on steroids.
I think
Like
that
that
could
kid's
be
good.
their deadline pickup too. I think that if
Mm-hmm.
the OHL season ends, he could come in. Him on that
Mm-hmm.
first line wouldn't be bad either.
But not,
Really
dude.
wouldn't.
Is he the
Kid does
guy that's gonna
everything.
be like, all right, I'm gonna be here and make an immediate impact? Like, because that's
Yes,
hard to
dude.
do. That's really, really hard to
I
like.
have confidence in it. Like he's
He looked
so
really
good.
good in preseason. Not
Dude, the
gonna lie.
kid does everything. What I call him a five-tool player. He could shoot, he could pass, he's physical, he could skate, and he can play a 200-foot game. The guy just does everything.
I was thinking like if the Rangers go for Kane and then like next year you would just take Kane for just the half year or after the deadline and then you'd replace him with Othman next year.
Right. You would hope.
But yeah, I mean, if it becomes too tight at the deadline, I think the Rangers are gonna have $6 million, right, in the accrued cap space.
A little bit
Yeah,
more.
unless Jacob Trouba still has that nagging injury maybe for a bit. I don't
Mm,
know. Maybe put him on the shelf for a month or so. Tampa sign him.
Long term IR.
Yeah.
7.1, and that's if they don't move Sammy Blais. Or like you guys said, put someone on LTIR.
Yeah, I think the trade pieces are gonna end up being Kravtsov and Sammy Blais. Gauthier for me, he stays.
100%.
Sorry.
I
I'd
think
think he's
there's
a
rather
a
good
have
chance
piece.
I think they move Gauthier. I think there's a chance I don't want him to move, but I could see them moving him if they find an opportunity to improve the roster.
yeah. It's
And
tough.
get value for him, because one thing I fear is that they would move Gauthier and they wouldn't get any value out of him, because whoever gets Julian Gauthier has another year of control. Like, he's not a UFA yet. He's got one more year of RFA with arbitration rights before he's a UFA.
Yeah, and I don't think he's gonna be asking for a significantly larger contract.
Mm-mm.
I'd say still under $1 million.
Yes,
That's a bargain.
absolutely.
That's a
He's a
bargain.
great 13th forward, dude. You squeeze him in where you need
Oh
to.
I think he should be in the lineup, man. Like that's
Absolutely.
13th forward. Screw that.
If
Like this.
if Blaze ahead of him,
Like,
abso-freaking-lutely.
I don't know. Like, okay, all right. I gotta go on a rant again. Like, I don't understand, man. Like the last game he was in, he against the Maple Leafs. He's
Mhm.
out there for like his first or second shift, one of his first shifts of the game. He draws a freaking penalty, and
Yep.
you know what? They score on that power play. And then the next game you take him out. Why? It doesn't make any sense to me. He just drew you a penalty, got you the first goal of the game. And now
we
you take him
traded
out
Pavel
because
Buchnevich.
reasons.
We have to make the
Seriously.
trade look good.
Yeah, we got to play pretend like it works.
Yeah.
Like Buchnevich has 100. He has over 100 points in his last 100 games.
Yeah, Craig Berube loves Vucevic.
God, who doesn't? I'll tell you what annoys me the most too is like if we still had Buchnevich and we signed him to the extension that St. Louis did, and we didn't get Sammy Blais, and we didn't have Ryan Reeves, and we didn't sign Patrick Nemeth, we could still have him. Yes. Like, he would still fit on this team. He still has a spot. We'd be able to afford him. But, it's just we don't have room for a guy. We don't have room for a point a game player that's good on the playoffs, kills penalties, plays great on the power play, and can shoot the puck from the left side. No, we don't have room for that. No. We need more physicality in the bottom six. That's what we need.
No, we don't have room for that, but let's just spend more than his actual contract on two guys that one
Mm-hmm.
you just traded draft picks with to get rid of,
Yep.
and the other that's on the first line for no reason.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
Oh yeah. Just awful.
I'm still
Glenn
pissed about.
Sather.
I'm still pissed about Zuccarello.
Hey, next year, maybe he'll be back. Next year at the deadline, that's the target. That's the guy.
Woo.
But
Who would have
I
thought
doubt
he would have
Minnesota- I
gotten
doubt
better as he
Minnesota
got
will let
older?
this.
I mean, yeah, dude, you put me on a line with Kaprizov, I might have a few points too.
Yeah, but Zuccarello.
I don't know. I think Zuccarello is definitely a big factor to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
100%.
he was close to a point per game before he got traded here, so
Mm.
he was
Miss Zook.
definitely dominating. So he's definitely a big part of it. I'd love if Minnesota could slip next year and he comes back by the deadline.
Oh, I
That'd
would
be
love
so
that.
nice.
I would
That would
love
be freaking
that.
awesome. Bill Guerin won't allow it, but oh my god, I'd love it if they just cracked
Mhm.
the bed.
I know Zuccarello is a special place of mine, right? That
I
guy
mean, hey,
cared.
they're spending a lot on buyouts. Maybe they need to clear cap in the offseason, which
Yeah.
I don't know if they would move
Seriously.
Zuccarello, but
I think the NHL needs to bring compliance buyouts back for an offseason if it's going to keep going up like this for a little while.
Dude, they're gonna
I don't know how
yeah.
how that was funded. I don't know how that's funded by the league, like the compliance buyouts, how that works, but the Rangers
I
could
think
really benefit
I
from
think the
that.
teams still pay for the buyout. It just doesn't count against their cap. I think I think the Rangers are still paying Brad Richards out of their pocket, but
Oh yeah,
he
yeah,
just doesn't
they
count
are.
towards their cap.
Yeah,
But it
it's
would be
just
nice if they brought back compliance buyouts because I have one defenseman that wears the number 8 that could probably use one.
yeah. Or if GMs just, weren't stupid to begin with and gave fourth
Seriously.
liners these type of contracts in the
Mhm.
beginning. And that's the thing with goalies. Like, why did Bobrovsky have to get that contract? You just set the table
Facts.
for a nightmare in the future. Like,
Mhm.
we couldn't all just agree to keep goalies under 10 million.
that
Like, we
didn't
couldn't
make
all just
sense
have
to me.
that agreement as
But-
GMs.
Yeah, like a handshake agreement. Like, yeah, let's just keep it under, and now like that's just
And then right before they signed Sergei Bobrovsky, they drafted a goalie in the first round in Spencer Knight, who they just signed to a
Exactly.
3-year extension, making $4.5 million a year starting next year. It's like
You're spending
what are we
14 million on your
doing?
goalies, man.
Like,
Hey,
it
that
makes
could be
no
us,
sense.
though, at some point with Garand.
It could, yeah, it could. Oh my god, I totally forgot about Grant, who, by the way, is having a decent season right now in Hartford. He's buzzing down there.
I'm excited for the kid. I
Really?
am.
Is he's the next big thing, Grant?
I think so.
Dude,
I'm
he's
hyped.
he won what? He won back-to-back goalie of the year in the WL, did he not?
Yeah, he's legit. He is
Is he
legit.
is he the starter for Canada in the WJC?
Mm-mm.
World
He's still in
don't think he's
Hartford.
in
Him
the
and
World
Domingue
Juniors
almost
this
split
year.
games exactly down the middle. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cap stuff again. We're getting to that time of year where it's like, you have to kind of walk on eggshells, dance around, be
Mhm.
very cautious. The way it was handled last year was just spectacular. Like I
Yes.
mean, the Rangers had a lot of cap space. They had the most, and
Mhm.
they went and made the moves. We'll see what happens this year. Brennan Othman
I think-
as a trade deadline pickup.
Yeah. I think the Rangers can make some noise at deadline.
Clause.
Wait, Halak has a no move?
Yeah, so they can't even move him if they wanted to.
Oh. We should have just signed Domingue and just let Domingue be our backup.
I think the plan is right now they're trying to find this perfect bridge to Dylan Garand right now. Like they gave Domingue the 2 years. I think he's going to be the backup for part of next year. And then if Garand's too dominant in the AHL, they're going to just call him up midway through.
The
they
AHL's
don't
got
have
to
a
start
scenario
winning
where-
games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Wolfpack are having a tough go of it right now.
Oh, yeah.
They could just never get it figured
Garand's
out, dude.
record is brutal this year, but he's not doing bad.
What's the
One
save
save percentage is not bad for a losing team. 901.
Yeah, he has a 901.
Goals against
Could
average?
be worse.
301.
301 goals against
2
average.
shutouts.
I guess by AHL standards.
That's pretty damn
right.
good.
301?
Yeah.
Goals against average is 301.
Yeah, he's doing solid
Okay.
for a bad team. And
Yeah.
I think I think next year we see him. I really think next year we end up seeing him. Because I think they're in a scenario where they don't want to have what they had with Shesterkin, where you had Shesterkin, Georgiev, and Lundqvist. That's why I think Domingue got the 2 years. You
Mhm.
have Domingue start the year, and like I said, when Garand starts dominating in the AHL, you call him up, send Domingue back down, and there you go. You have your perfect
Two-way.
bridge.
Yep.
Don't forget Olaf Lindbaum. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I interviewed
he's
him on
getting
the show a long time ago.
really.
Yeah, like one of the first episodes of the show, I interviewed him.
Dude,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I feel bad for the guy, but why? He's got an 871 save percentage in the Coast right now on like a decent Coast team. And we drafted him in the second round. And what annoys me the most is I was looking at something the other day. He was like, he wasn't even like the top ranked goalie in the draft, and he was the first or second one taken off the board in that draft. I just don't understand what the Rangers were thinking when they drafted Olaf Lindbaum. It never made sense for anybody. I just
They
don't
thought
understand
Benny
it.
would make him good. That's the only thing I could think of.
Well, I don't know if Benny's got it working with him right now.
Dude, I think
He's in the
I think
Coast.
Jesus Christ could work with Lindbaum, and he'd still have a hard time, dude.
Oh
It's
my
just
God.
such a tough go for the kid.
Who are
It's so
some of
bad.
like noticeable picks that went after him?
Let's see. It's a 2018 draft, 39th overall. Right after him was Ryan McLeod, Bodie Wild, Jack Drury, Scott Perunovich, Martin Faravari. Love that kid in in Washington. Sean Dursey, Kalen Addison, Benoit Olivier Grau, Grau, however you say it. Let's see. I'm only going to go up to the third round because after that you're kind of nitpicking a bit. Jack McBain, who I believe won some sort of award last year. I think he won the Hobie Baker last year. I could be wrong there, but he's in Arizona right now. He's doing pretty well for himself. Jordan Harris, I have no idea who that is. And Connor Dewar. The only notable names in the second and third round.
Well, if Chris Drury was the GM, we know who would have went with that pick instead.
Seriously.
Jack Drury.
Seriously. Man, that Sean Dursey kid ain't doing bad. 46 points in 96 career games.
Sean Dursey's underrated.
Sean Dursey for LA.
Nice
yeah, they got some nice players over there in LA. I hate to admit
he was actually drafted by
LA.
Toronto. Traded to
really?
Jake Muzzin trade.
Oh, that was the Muzzin trade, yeah.
Kid's solid though. That Faravari kid, I have a buddy who's a huge Capitals fan, and he raves about the Faravari guy. I got to watch a Capitals game with him the other night, and that Faravari kid is solid. Better than Libor Hayek, that's for sure.
Better than Libor Hayek.
I mean, that's a low bar.
I hope Zach Jones picks it up though. I want to see him back here.
I literally forgot about his existence for a minute. I
know.
Completely forgot.
I know. Yeah.
Jones a long road to get back. At least with the Rangers, it's a long road for him to get back into this lineup. It's just the Rangers' defense is too deep, and I don't think they liked how Jones and Schneider played together. Although there's something to be said about trying Miller and Jones Trouba. I would like to see something along those lines, or Jones and Fox, and let's just have fun with it. Let's just laugh a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stupid pair.
I don't think Gallant will go with that.
Like, it would be funny as fuck to watch that pair.
Dude, just every other step is dude, it'd be mohawking up and down the ice. They wouldn't stop. With the agility skates on.
Yeah, like at full strength though, like, with Jones fully confident, you know what I mean? Like, because right now he said he's nervous. He felt nervous playing. And he had never felt that way before.
He was on a short leash, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's
too.
Hard
But I also
Hayek's right down your throat there.
Hayek just right behind him.
Yeah, I don't understand. They must still see something in Hayek. I don't think it's time to pull a plug on Zach Jones.
It's not even that Hayek's been bad. It's the fact that he's never been above replacement level since he's been here, yet he is still here. Just blows my freaking mind, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. It just never, especially with there were a lot of bang for your buck defensemen that were in the free agent market this past season. The Rangers could have taken a flyer on, paid less than $1 million for, and do the exact same thing that Hayek and Harper are doing now, swapping off at the 6th spot, except have a consistent guy in the 6th spot instead. But what do I know? Just saying, it just would have been nice to have a little bit more consistency and not of the Patrick Nemeth type.
Yeah, kind of mean that they looked out for Niels Lundqvist by getting him a Swedish friend, but they didn't look out for
Mm-hmm.
Schneider.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god. Oh my
Ryder's
god.
doing well,
Fair.
man. I think
He
he's
is.
playing really well. I think, of course the chances are gonna come. Yeah, chances he's gonna face a lot of chances, but he's breaking up a lot of plays. Makes a lot of
He's
good
solid,
defensive.
dude.
Yeah.
It's just funny for me because I was so against that pick when they made it. I was beyond against it.
I
I
know.
wanted a
Center.
center so badly. I
Yeah.
wanted
Mhm.
LaPierre, Zary really badly.
Yeah. That's what the
Oh,
Rangers
Connor's there.
need. They need center depth in their pipeline. They don't have a lot. I mean, they got a couple of this draft, but I mean, if they could get some centers in this draft this year, that'd be awesome. I'm sure there's some great centers in this draft. I'll
I
have to
just
talk
hope
to
They
they can
Drew.
got
find
two
a way to
first-round
keep both.
picks.
If they could keep both those picks, like that's also what I'm saying. Like, as cool as Patrick Kane might be, I really am hesitant. I would love to keep
Mhm.
both of those first round picks. If
Mhm.
they could
I
find a way to
agree.
buy low at the deadline and keep both of them, that would make things so much better because then you get guys on controllable contracts for a bit and you don't have to worry about spending money on these guys. It just makes sense.
If they trade a first
Absolutely.
round pick, it's going to be a conditional first round pick. It's going to be like, this will have like for Kane, it's got to be one. It's going to be one conditional, no guaranteed first round pick. That's how all these
Yeah.
trades are now. They're all conditional picks. It's like, yeah, if this guy plays 50% of the games and gets 75% of the points, then yes, you get a first round pick.
Well, you remember when the Rangers traded Zook, they got a second and a third for him, and both those picks could have been first-round picks if
Right.
the Wild, or not the Wild, if Dallas
Or-
re-signed him or got to the second round, something along those lines, right? They
There's
could
the
have gotten
third
two
round, and
first-round
they
picks.
were one game away from the third round.
Yes.
One of them. That was brutal.
Dude, that
Yeah.
would have been freaking. We would have had 4 first-round picks in the was it 2018 draft with Miller and Kravtsov and Lundqvist.
No, that was the year after.
Was the year after?
Yeah.
Oh hell, then we would have had 2 first-round picks in the Kakko draft.
Well,
That
they
would've
could
been-
have had another first round pick too from Tampa also if they won the cup. I think
Yes.
there was 2 years in a row.
That could have been.
Might
If the
have
Rangers
gonna.
are willing to do that condition for a Kane trade, then I'm down for it.
100%.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, it's like,
150%.
right.
That actually kind of nice. I don't know. I'm a big fan of having 2 first-round picks in a very loaded draft, especially because given this draft too, because it's so good. And again, we're playing pretend, but if both of those picks are in the 20s, if you package both of those picks, you can get probably 15 between 10 and 15.
Yeah.
In a good draft, you could do that. And there's a lot of good players in this draft.
I'd say a conditional first this year for the Rangers, one of them, and it's if the Rangers win the Stanley Cup either this year. Yeah, this year. Yeah, because Kane is only under contract this year. And Kravtsov and Blay and a second for next year. That's my offer. Kane 50% retain.
I could get behind that. I could get behind that. I don't know what Chicago's thinking, but I could get behind that. I don't know. I think it's weird. It's just weird.
I had
Tough trade
Hawk
to
fans
predict.
laughing at me when I mentioned Kravtsov's name, so they're not too fond of Kravtsov.
Yeah, because all they know about is Lafreniere. It's like the Vancouver fans for JT Miller. Oh, we
Oh my
want
God.
Lafreniere and Miller and Kakko. Like, no,
the
man.
Eichel trades were the most
They were
ridiculous.
so stupid, dude. That stuff annoys the life of me. That's why I always go back and look at this historically what the players in similar situations get. Because it just annoys the hell out of me. Like they think they can get the world fleece. Like even Jack Eichel, Peyton Krebs, decent. He's solid prospect. He'd say a B-level prospect, first round pick. Alex Tuck, middle 6 forward, and what else did they get? They got
They got a first, didn't they?
First and
First
another
Krebs.
draft pick, I think.
Yeah, like even that, like that's nowhere near what fans were saying in Buffalo. They were saying, "Oh, we need Laffy, Lundqvist, a first, and Hedl." Like, dude, what are you smoking over there? Like, it just
A first. They wanted 2 firsts.
yeah, it never made any sense. Just like if you ever want to know what a player is going to likely get in a trade, just go back and look at players in similar situations.
Mhm.
Like I want to use the Marty St. Louis comparison for Patrick Kane so bad, but it doesn't make sense because
Not anymore. Last year
not
it did,
anymore.
but not this year because he only has 1 year left.
Exactly.
St. Louis had 2
exactly.
years when he was traded to the Rangers.
That's why for me the closest comparable to Patrick Kane in terms of like just recency, and it's not even really that close because there's an age gap, is when Taylor Hall got traded from the Sabres to the Bruins. Taylor Hall was producing at a similar pace, slightly less than what Patrick Kane is producing at now, but he was also closer to getting a MVP of the league trophy when he got traded. So if you use those side by side as a 1-year rental, I think Taylor Hall got a 2nd-round pick in Anders Bjork, and he was only willing to go to Boston, I believe. So that's the most recent comparable I see, and I don't really think that's realistic. I think the Rangers do need to trade more than that to get Patrick Kane if they go down that route.
What about like the Drew trade as a comparison from last year?
Giroux?
Yeah. Because it was Tippett at first, right? And what else was there?
If Giroux is wanting to go to more than one place and it will waive to more than one team, in other words, creating a bidding war, then absolutely you're going to see a Giroux return. If he's only willing to waive to one team, which again, I could be wrong, I could be lying, which I believe was what happened with Taylor Hall in Boston, then the return is going to be extremely mundane. It's not going to be very good for Chicago. It's going to be great for the Rangers if they get him, but Chicago fans are going to be pissed off and we're never going to hear the end of it.
For Kane, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you want to add anything before we wrap this up? Got a good amount of time here, hour 20 minutes.
A nice little session right here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Definitely more Rangers talk. The first few minutes were so peaceful because it's just so nice talking about a sport that has no salary cap versus a sport that does, because we have the galaxy brain and do all these cap gymnastics in our head just to construct trades and everything. It's so annoying. Where
imagine
just give up this prospect and these prospects for a player and you get him.
Exactly.
Imagine getting rid of a player because you can't afford to pay him,
dude.
Yeah,
because the league doesn't allow you.
Billionaires are cheap. Yeah,
like seriously, it's like what are the Rangers valued at? Like 2.3 billion.
Yeah,
something along those lines.
The most valued in the sport in the NHL. That's all I know.
You're allowed to spend peanuts compared to what the value is. It's like,
it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all.
It's so hard. Like, I want hockey to be the most watched sport, but it's not.
What annoys me the most is that hockey is the most expensive sport to play. Yet it's the professional athletes of the big four sports, they make the least.
Yep.
Like we talk about McDavid, or even McKinnon, actually the highest paid player in the league at $12.6 million. That's like a bench player in the NBA.
Joey Gallo just got that much money.
Yes, right. And the guy's batting 200, and like a utility guy. Like the Mets signed who is that pitcher that was so freaking bad? They signed him a couple years ago to a 2-year contract.
Michael Wacha?
No.
Not Porcello, was it?
Worse than them. Jason Vargas.
Oh.
He made like $10 million a year for 2 years, and he was like the worst number 5 man in the league, and he would be one of the richest players in the NHL. It's just ridiculous. Like, come on, dude. Figure it out, NHL. You have the money to spend. The NHL has got to be making money hand over fist. I would love to see not their revenue reports, but their profit reports. Because I promise you, these players are getting ripped off.
Yep, and let's punish teams for gathering assets. Great idea.
That's like the big point too. It's like you punish players for drafting well, getting like accruing assets. You're punished for it. It just doesn't make any freaking sense. I'm sorry. If you're good at drafting, I think you should be rewarded, not punished for it. Like maybe players that you drafted, if their cap hit accounts for less than if you sign someone from free agency, you're required via trade. Whether it worked that out in percentages, but you're right. You shouldn't be getting punished for drafting well and doing things well.
That's got to be like a discussion between the Players Association and the league, like to try and get the cap raised or whatever, or the GMs and the owners.
Seriously,
like listen, you guys got to pull your weight. Like, listen, if you invest more money into this, I promise you will have a higher turnout and you'll have a higher ROI.
Right, absolutely.
2026 is the CBA expiration date. That's going to be an interesting time.
When is it?
Wow.
25-26.
Damn.
Okay, that's not too far.
That's going to be an interesting time.
Well, you wonder what's going to happen. I bet you that falls into a lockout because I know the players are a little pissy about the escrow thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a lockout.
Yeah, half a season, no season. Something's going to happen that's going to piss us all off.
Yep.
Yeah, they got to figure it out because like going up 1 million every year is not sustainable.
It's just so tedious.
It's so annoying. Yeah. There's a lot of teams that are starting to get stuck in the same place.
Right, and it's only hurting the players. It's only hurting the players' ability to make money and do more. Like you could sign players to what, $750,000, right? That's like the minimum. That's like in terms of professional sports, $750,000 is a smack in the face. Golfers get that for what, 2 days of being on tour? It's like, wow. Like, imagine working, like being a professional athlete. You work your whole life and your first year in the league, which again, 750 grand to like a plebeian like myself. Yeah, that would be freaking awesome. But to work your whole life, be one of in the top 0.1% in your craft in professional sports, have millions of people watching, people buy your jerseys, do all this stuff for you, and you're worth 750 grand.
For real.
Like, not even a schmill. Like, come on.
Yeah, and it's like rookies getting as much as they are is such a joke too. It's just
bad. It's
beyond
so bad.
ridiculous.
It's sad. It's sad and it's laughable. The NHL needs to go the route of a soft cap or something. And for the love of God, raise the floor. Make teams spend more. If you cannot spend, then you can't be an owner in this league. I hate to break it to you. Like, some of these owners, like, they're so freaking annoying with how stingy they are with their money. It's like, what's the point of buying the team if you don't want to win?
And some teams have an internal cap also. So it's like,
Yeah.
what's the point of the salary cap when some teams are already running with an internal cap?
Exactly. It's just so freaking frustrating, dude. It's just so frustrating. It makes no sense to me.
Maybe Steve Cohen could buy the entire NHL.
Dude, he actually might be able to.
That'd be
Someone
great.
should make a video on that. Like, what would happen if, like, you take Steve Cohen's entire net worth and, you know, make it so that the NHL is as popular as the NFL? Like, what would need to
5-point bid,
happen?
you heard us.
Dude, seriously.
Somebody needs to make that kind of video.
5-point
Like,
bids is your guy for that type of
5-point
video.
bids.
Yeah, he's the guy for that type of video.
Maybe
Yeah,
I should tag him.
100% actually.
Maybe
So
I should
the-
tag him, tell him to do that.
So the NHL is worth $32.4 billion. Steve Cohen's net worth, I believe, is what, 15.5?
Yeah.
17.4 as of April 8th. So he could buy half the league.
For real.
Get him in there, baby. But make sure the
Please.
Mets win first. Mets got to win first, then he could do it. As long
Yeah.
as the Mets win first. I got to put that down.
If the Mets start winning, then maybe that goes up another $1 billion. Is that worth?
Hopefully a few, Billy, dude. We got more
Yeah.
players to sign. We got Ohtani waiting for us and Soto the year after. And
Yeah.
whoever else comes after that, whoever it might be.
Yep.
Which is what's cool. He's gonna sign these guys and probably lose money, and he doesn't care. He's just
No,
like,
he
I want a
doesn't.
championship.
Dude, he spent what, $806 million this offseason?
Yep.
Absolutely destroyed the old like payroll record. Remember years like where the Mets were like sitting, oh yeah, we don't want to go over $100 million in our payroll. Tampa Bay Rays, like Oakland Athletics level of
Without any analytics, though. to help
Right,
them.
right.
without any analytics. Yeah, like
Curtis Granderson, like that was a guy we were excited about when they signed.
yes,
Right
Michael
now, he'd
Kadire.
be a fourth outfielder right now for us. Like, it's wild. It's wild how quick
Michael-
things have changed.
Yeah, I remember Scott Boras used to pick on the Mets. Like he
Yeah. and
remember
now he
one
loves
off.
Now he
he's
loves
like-
them, bro. He's like,
Him
it's like
and
his
Cohen are
favorite
best
team.
friends now. They're
Yeah.
boys.
He like said the Mets are in like the fruit and produce section of the aisle. Like one off season, I swear it's like 2012 or 2013. He said
I
the Mets are in
remember
the
that.
fruit.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, and then Sandy, like when Steve Cohen stepped in, is like, yeah, now we're gonna be shopping in the meat and potatoes aisle or something. Like that.
Yeah.
Jesus. So Steve Cohen, and I'm not sure if the 816 million is the exact amount if I'm off by a little bit. So him spending $816 million this offseason is only worth 4.6% of his net worth.
That's crazy. He just threw his entire net worth and 4.6% of it just stuck on the wall.
Yeah, just dude, that is literal chump change to him. This guy, again, like we were joking about earlier, was probably absolutely S-faced in wherever he was vacationing. It's like, what's $315 million? Sure, sign him, bring him in. Just casually. Like, oh my God, it's freaking wild to even just. Oh God, I wish.
On that note, we're gonna wrap up this week's episode. Rangers, hopefully they could get one more win before the Christmas break. We'll have one more
Nice.
episode of High School Takes before for next year. And the Mets, great things on the horizon. Steve Cohen, best owner in the MLB. Love him.
Hands
Boys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciated it.
Hells yeah, brother.